Hello and welcome back to the best of rSlash. Today we're taking a look at r/Ask Reddit, where the question is, what has the COVID-19 virus made you realize? I miss hanging out with my brother and sister. We're all in our late 20s-ish. I'm the oldest at 30, and the three of us have hung out all day every day for 8 days now. I love it. I was working too hard. Because of all the suffering, I'm actually kind of ashamed to admit this has been great for my mental health. Honestly, me too. I was so burnt out and struggling through every single day. I'm laid off, which is a problem in itself, but being away from work has helped me reconnect with myself. Since we're working from home, my schedule is broken up into 2 4-hour shifts a day with anywhere from 2 to 4 hours in between instead of my typical 8. And I've found that I'm way more productive working in short bursts like this rather than one long drawn-out day. That my job doesn't care if I die? Mine doesn't either. We are all replaceable. Crazy, isn't it? Our system isn't prepared for a big outbreak of some kind of sickness. Having the option to do something and not doing it sucks far less than not having that option at all. Very true. I wonder why that is. That I'm suddenly really glad my parents are dead. No, seriously, I see everyone so worried about their elderly folk. I just don't have that worry. I'm grateful. I see what you mean. My grandparents have all passed and I would probably be freaking out about their health and safety right now if they were still alive. I'm also glad my grandparents are dead, particularly since the death caused by COVID-19 is significantly worse than what any of them died from. It's a very strange feeling, but I'm glad that I don't have that anxiety on top of wondering if a bandana over my face will be enough if I have to go outside. Yo, that's a wild thought. I didn't realize it was getting that extreme. Getting morbid. I'll probably never get to hug my grandpa again, and he'll die thinking his family abandoned him. He's over 90 and in a nursing home. He can barely hear and is almost completely blind, so it's very difficult for him to comprehend what's going on and why we can't go see him. Oh, that is so sad. My grandfather died in a nursing home from coronavirus complications the night of March 23rd, after being sick for 17 years. He had 4 children and 13 grandchildren, including me, and none of us were able to see him before he passed. My grandmother wasn't even able to see him when he first started showing symptoms that very same morning. This virus isn't a joke. I'm not at risk, and most young people aren't, but the elderly and compromised are, and there are bigger things than a party of social events, etc., that just can't be missed. Just stay home. It's not hard. Save lives. My grandma's 92nd birthday was yesterday. I'm in a different state, but the rest of my family made signs and stood in the lawn of the assisted living home with them to say hello and happy birthday. Being blind, you just need bigger signs. I was not washing my hands enough. I never realized how long 20s was, to be honest. Your girlfriend definitely did. That the country is full of wankers and idiots. I'm so angry. I'm angry at whoever ate that bat in the first place. I'm angry at the Chinese government for covering it up until the last possible moment. I'm angry at the US government for squandering our lead time, just in total denial about the problem, imagining how much better things would be if we'd been preparing since early February. Don't even get me started on the herder, I'm American, can't tell me what to do crowd that's so wrapped up in their dip narcissism that they can't cancel their precious plans. And the cowardice of people who pretend everything is fine because they don't want to rock the boat. Things aren't okay. Grow a spine and turn down that invitation, quarantine yourself if you're symptomatic. Cancel that trip. I don't think there's really a need to get angry, but I think there's lots of good points to be made in that one. That I basically practice social distancing every day already. Yeah, same friend, same. My life really hasn't changed since quarantine, which is kind of sad, to be honest. Yeah, I was like, so my lifestyle actually has a name for it. Huh, cool. Not gonna lie, social distancing feels like the silver lining in an otherwise horrible event. Just how privileged I am. Don't get me wrong, I have plenty that keeps me up at night, but compared to the trouble a lot of people are in, my worries are nothing. This country is full of people having to choose between risking their family's health versus risking eviction. Folks with parents in nursing homes who they can't visit, people with chronic health conditions who are terrified of a flare-up while the hospitals are full, hospital workers who are living in their garages because there are PPE shortages at work and they're afraid of infecting their families. I can't imagine how much stress a lot of my neighbors are under right now. Print newspapers might just die because of this. And print comic books. Distribution of comics in the US is handled primarily by one company who's currently shut down. I didn't realize how much my work defined who I am. I'm a barber, and after a week and a half of not doing it, I feel very incomplete. As cheesy as it may sound, it's my art form and it gives me a lot of meaning. I'm very hopeful though that I'll make it through this and be able to do it again. I'm with you. I'm a dentist, and it's weird to be in healthcare but deemed non-essential, but also thankful that we got shut down during this time since we're at high risk due to aerosols. I miss my patients and my work, and this whole thing has made me realize that I have no hobbies except for working. How many jobs, meetings really can be done remotely? That many of us, including myself, run on the illusion that everything will be fine, that we'll always be able to keep living as we previously were. But it's completely wrong, and things can change very suddenly. We don't expect huge things to disturb our lives, but there's plenty of things that are capable of doing so. Even as I knew the epidemic was coming and talked with my classmates about needing more strict measures, i.e. canceling sport events, big gatherings, and all those things, it wasn't always so distant, so ethereal. We talked about statistics and numbers with no measurable effects on our lives. Of course, we were saddened by the tragedies we heard about, but there was some kind of disconnection between what was on the news and our daily lives. It's a strange kind of feeling, and I might seem to be speaking nonsense, but it didn't feel tangible or real until a few days after the isolation started. As we had to cancel our graduation trip, we had to worry about our exams, setting up online classes, what's going to happen, and all that. It started to sink in that this was a huge, unprecedented event. Options for the future aren't limited to those written on history books, and what will happen tomorrow is uncertain. I feel like it's kind of the same with climate change. I'm even studying it to some extent in my degree. I know it will cause scarcity, conflicts, increased natural disasters, and many other things, but I don't think we'll be fully aware of what those mean regarding our own lives until they're at our doorstep, just as it happened this time. Maybe I had a view that was too sheltered. I might have been naive. I knew things weren't going to work out on their own, and I was calling for preventative action days before my government did anything. I knew what would happen, but not the real meaning of it. I won't fundamentally change how I live. I won't be in constant fear or something like that just because an asteroid could send it all to hell. But it does help shatter the screen that made the events happening in the news feel a little bit otherworldly sometimes, as if what happened there didn't have the potential to make our little bubbles crumble. And with that, you've been listening to the best of rSlash. If you like this content, please leave a thumbs up. This lets us know that you like this kind of content, and please consider subscribing because we release content every single day, 7 days a week on both YouTube and podcast.